Hi everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and I am here today with the Blog Hop and reveal for the Flavor of the Month card kit by Scrapping for Less. This month, February of 2020's theme is It's All About the Girls. So last month we had All About the Boys, and this month we got All About the Girls. So I made quite a few cards here. I made 5. I made one from each kit, and I also included stuff from the Banana Split level. That picture right there shows what's in the Banana Split level with that extra package. There's the ingredient sheet and the sketches that I'll be making cards from outside of the sneak peek, which I will also get into showing you here. Now, one of the cards, the next one after I make this sneak peek, I forgot to hit record, so I don't actually have that on video, but I'll kind of walk through real simple, real easy what I did with that particular card. But for this card, for the sneak peek, I did some Distress Oxide blending with the stencil that came as part of the Banana Split level. I used black soot and iced spruce for the colorings on there because I wanted kind of black and gray. I used some pixie spray to adhere that stencil down to the card panel that I was using, and you see that piece that I'm kind of playing around with. Well, that piece I just didn't spray well, which is why it didn't stick. It has nothing to do with the pixie spray. Pixie spray is fantastic. So it's great for use on stencils to keep it in position so you get real nice, clean, crisp lines. But after I kind of finish that up, I do end up taking some shimmer spray and spraying the background because I wanted it to have more glittery sparkle on there. Now I stamped this shoe set in Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and those are the colors for Copic markers I used to do the coloring. After I colored these, then I started kind of thinking of the Wizard of Oz, but I like red shoes. I really think they're great. I think they're awesome as an accent with a nice red handbag, some red lipstick, with a pair of jeans and a black top. Looks great. I'm a big fan. But like I said, after I kind of put this together, it just made me keep thinking of Wizard of Oz. But I still like it, so I don't care. But I did do this coloring on here with, like I said, those Copic markers. And then I did use my Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen to get all of the sparkle all around. And the shoes kind of have a star pattern in them, and I really kind of layered on the sparkle pen onto those star areas of the shoe. And then I did the entire shoes, but I really, like I said, laid it on pretty thick there. And after I completed the background and I did use this shimmer spray on there, I cut out those shoes by hand. They were fairly simple, but if you've ever watched a video of mine, you know how much I hate fussy cutting. But I did fussy cut that. And then I stamped the sentiment and I heat embossed the sentiment that says, Cinderella is proof that a pair of shoes can change your life. And then I used one of the stickers that says Let Life Surprise You on there. And then I also used the enamel dots by Gina Marie Designs. The ones that I received were clear, so I kind of thought they were perfect to go along with this card. So in collection 1, you're going to receive Beautiful paper by Scrapping for Less. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. That is collection 1, but this is actually collection number 3 with the glass slippers. And then in collection 3, you receive the glass slippers paper by Scrapping for Less, glass slippers stamp by Tawny Owl paper. That's from our very own Crystal on our design team. Enamel dots by Gina Marie Designs, and ephemera by Scrapping for Less. But like I said, I ended up using it with the stencil on this sneak peek card. So I do make a different card with that third collection there. So like I said, this is where I am really kind of caking on that Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen just on those couple areas. Now after I stamp and heat emboss this, like I said, I do pop up the shoes and the sentiment with some foam tape. And then those stickers that we received, the sentiment stickers by Me and My Big Ideas that are part of collection number 1, those are really thick, nice stickers, and so I did not pop those up with anything. But that's what I'm going to do to finish up that card. So you also receive, as part of this kit, cardstock. The cardstock you're going to receive is Pink Lemonade, Banana Split, Blue Raspberry, Night Shift Blue, Grape Jelly, and Plum Punch. You also receive 2 sheets of Neenah 110-pound Classic Crest Smooth Solar White cardstock and 4 A2 size white envelopes. So those are all the things that you receive as part of collection number 1, I'm sorry, I am so confused today. I just need to stop. That's cardstock you receive. That's what you receive as part of collection number 3. And then we will jump into a different card as soon as this one's done. Now I will tell you, the next card is the one that I did not videotape. Like I said, I forgot to hit the button. And for this collection, or for this second card that I'm going to be making in a moment, I did use collection 1, and in collection 1 you receive Beautiful Paper by Scrapping for Less, Beautiful Stamp by Scrapping for Less, and Enamel Dots by Gina Marie Designs, as well as those sentiment stickers by Me and My Big Ideas. Now I love the paper. The Beautiful paper is just awesome. Like I said, I really like the Me and My Big Ideas stamps. They're thick, so they're really nice. And for this card, I did not use any of the sketches. But for this next card that I'm going to jump into, I do use sketch 1 as part of it. Now, I really just followed the sketch and cut out the pieces so that it could match up with the sketch. And then instead of putting like a flower, my embellishment were hearts from that sticker set. And the stamp I just stamped. I know for the sneak peek you saw Crystal's amazing coloring of this stamp. That shows you what you can really do with it. But for this one, I just used the Spectrum Noir Sparkle and I went through all of the lines. The lips, the eyes, the eyeshadow, the hair, and then I stamped Beautiful sideways on there. So that is what I did for that first card from with using the cardstock sketches. Now for collection number 2, I used sketch number 4, and that right there has all of the measurements on there. And this includes Birthday Queen paper by Scrapping for Less, Birthday Queen stamp by Scrapping for Less, and Enamel Dots by Gina Marie Designs. Now for this one, after I chose the paper, I decided to stamp the sentiment on just a white piece of cardstock, and I kind of placed everything around that says this Birthday Queen is 29, and on the inside of the card I'm going to write something cute about like again or always or something like that to the person that I plan on giving this to. So I stamped it with VersaFine Black Onyx ink because I wanted to make sure that it was really, really dark, and I stamped this. I think I ended up stamping it 3 times because since this was going to be the focal point, I wanted to make sure that it was crystal clear with the stamping. So I do end up stamping that, and then the enamel dots that I received were kind of pink glitter. I'm just guessing that's what they are. They're pink glitter ones. And I actually used the real small ones and one of the mediums for the jewels in the crown. So I thought that was kind of fun. I do end up cutting down a strip of the Gold Rhinestone Mesh by Doris. I think I forgot to mention that when I was going through what's part of collection 2, but this Gold Rhinestone Mesh is also part of it. So after I cut down the sentiment, or the piece, I did use, as part of the Banana Split level, you receive Beautiful Word Die by Scrapping for Less, the Flourish stencil that I used on that first card, Ranger Mini Ink Distress Cube in a random color. I received picked raspberries, and so I just kind of highlighted that with the pink raspberry Distress Ink cube on that white panel that has the sentiment on there. And then, like I said, I just cut down the pieces and kind of pieced it all together where exactly I wanted it. I've been cleaning my craft room, and the amount of foam tape and score tape that I have is frightening. I have an entire cabinet filled with tape. So I do not need to buy tape for a very long time. And I actually just ordered some tape. So I really don't need to buy tape for so very long. And I'm going to have to start doing something. I do like using the liquid glue when you're doing things like rhinestones or like this mesh strip to make sure that it actually really stays down there. And then because I didn't want the sentiment strip to become, you know, distorted from laying on the rhinestones, I added foam tape to the areas so that they the foam tape would hold it up over the rhinestone mesh strip so that it didn't kind of crush it and it would stay in one solid piece. So you see how I left that space there for that. And then I just kind of pop that on. Like I said, I do end up putting the rhinestones around the crown and then in some of the other areas. And then I also give a little extra of the coloring around in that panel. This paper is really, it's bright, it's fun, and I just really like the bright colors that it comes with. So you kind of have a good range of colorings, of colored papers for this. You have lighter ones, you have the ones with high contrast that were part of that first collection with the blacks and the pinks, and then this one are, like I said, just the real fun bright pinks and yellows. And now we're going to be moving into collection number 3, which has these beautiful blues and yellows. And for this card, since I used the shoes on the first card, I decided that I was going to use up some of this ephemera that came with it. So one of the sheets is a nice sheet that has a lot of sentiments on it, so I cut that down. And then for this one, I am using sketch number 3, and I'm trying to kind of figure out, and I use this, it kind of reminds me of crystals or geodes for this blue paper that I'm using as the background piece, and then I use some green and yellow for the strip that's part of that. And then I actually, instead of creating a circle, I used the flowers to kind of create the focal point for this. And in the bottom, I used one of the sentiments that I cut out of the paper. And this sentiment says, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And I think this card turned out really beautiful, and this ephemera is really nice. Now what I did to give this ephemera some extra dimension was I popped it up with foam tape, and some of it I popped up with 2 layers of foam tape. Some I put flat onto the card base or onto the back panel, and some of it I popped up with just 1 layer. So it definitely gives it some different dimension when you're looking at it. And then to kind of create that back or the middle panel of it, I was trying to see what my hole punch does, and it wasn't going to do what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to kind of invert the corners of the sentiment stamp, but I don't have a hole punch that does that, so I left it with the rounded punch, or with the rounded corners, and I just used my crocodile for that. But for the strips there, I just glued 2 of them together, and then I kind of put it kind of kitty corner or cockeyed on there, and then just trimmed off the excess on there. And like I said, then I played around with that ephemera. This ephemera is really beautiful, and I really like those women, princesses, whatever you want to call them, going to a ball, whatever they're doing. I think it's lovely how they look. And then, like I said, these flowers, I just really liked the flowers. I thought they were really pretty. I love the colorings with the blues and the greens and the yellows. I think those are just kind of a perfect match. And like I said, there you just kind of see me piecing it all together. And once that's kind of all pieced together, that will be it for that card. Now my final card, I am going to end up using sketch number 2. Collection number 4 is called Tea Party, and that includes Tea Party paper by Scrapping for Less, Tea-rific stamp by Sunny Studio Stamps, enamel dots by Gina Marie Designs, wood icons by Kaisercraft, and organza bag by Doris. So that is that card, and we're going to jump on to this last card. Now, like I was saying, you get a really nice, a lot of different color combinations with this collection, or with this Flavor of the Month card kit. You got the blues and the greens in collection number 3. You got the bright pinks and yellows in collection number 2. You got the high contrast colors with the pinks and the whites and the blacks in collection 1. And with this one are more of your pastel colors. So the Tea Party paper by Scrapping for Less is a purpley based, purple pinks, that type of thing. It has really cute cupcakes and pieces of cakes and flowers and teapots and teacups on it. Now for this card, I cut down, like I said, I'm using sketch number 3. And for this, let me actually grab my ruler so I can see what I ended up cutting this down to, because I looked at a couple different ones and I didn't want to quite make it as small as 3 inches, I know, and then I didn't want to make a 4-inch because it just didn't work right, so I did end up making this a 4 1/4 inch card. So that's what size that is. And like I said, I just cut down all of the papers. Now one of the papers has lines, and there's some larger white lines throughout that paper, and I thought it would be cool to stamp the sentiment on those lines throughout it. And with this set, you have a bunch of little pieces, or not little pieces, but a bunch of words separated, little words, you know, that you can put together to create your own sentiments. And so I put down, "You're a terrific, tea-rific friend." So I thought that was cute. And then I stamped the cup and saucer that is part of that on there. And I did not color them because I used the pattern paper. So I thought that ended up working out really, really well. And like I said, you can kind of see there, at first I was going to jump on and stick it all down, but then I was like, wait a minute, let me see if this will work in here. So you see me playing around with that so that I can get all of those straight. And a little trick, if you're playing around with especially clear stamps, they can be kind of sticky and stick to your fingers or what you're trying to use to move them around. An eraser seems to work really well. They, for whatever reason, do not stick to the eraser, and you're able to kind of move them into place, especially when you know you have to move them a hair to make it straight and to make it line up how you want it to line up. So there's a little tip for you to use that eraser when you're doing, especially when you're using, like I said, these small sentiments like that, or these small word dies, to kind of straighten them out and stuff. Like I said, you can definitely get through that. And I just stamped this a couple times because I was piecing it together. I wanted to make sure that 1, it was centered, and 2, that it was straight. So that's why you kind of see me going back and forth there, making sure that this is going to come out straight on this paper, because it had to line up pretty perfectly to fit in there, because the lines of that paper are kind of exactly the size of the "your", "a", and "friend". The tea-rific is a little bit larger, but I thought that was okay because that was kind of the center of it and how I left it. So then after that, I'm just going to finish piecing this together. Now you see I have my Fiskars scissors over there. I've been using them quite a bit to make a scalloped edge. I don't have a die that does a scalloped edge, and these scissors work great. So if you have Fiskars scissors, pull them out of your stash and use them once in a while, because they really do work wonders. I also took one of the wood pieces that are part of this kit, and I just colored it with my Copic markers. I used some purples and pinks and just colored it. I used hot fuchsia pink color for kind of the sprinkles and the maybe cherry on top or whatever it happens to be. And that's going to kind of be my focal point, or not my focal point, but my added accessory onto that card. And then I do use some of the enamel dots that are part of this kit. I'm loving the enamel dots. I have so many sequins. It's a little bit insane the amount of sequins I have. I could live to be 300 and I will never use all of the sequins that I have. And I am a big fan of enamel dots, so I was super excited when they started putting more enamel dots. I like to get sequins. I like to use the pack sometimes, especially for shaker cards and stuff. And you know that they're going to match perfectly with the kit, so I think it's good to do here and there. But overall, I'm really excited about the enamel dots because, like I said, those are definitely my favorite. So all of the pattern papers I did cut down. I cut it down 1/8 of an inch smaller. So like I said, it was a 4 1/4. So I cut it to 4 1/16 square as the background panel, and then I just kind of pieced everything around there. And that is my final card. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you continue hopping along with the rest of the blog. And if you need anything, you can always hop over to Scrapping for Less to check out what they have. They have a lot of great sales going on lately. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. And also, you can subscribe to the Flavor of the Month card kit. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and stick around to watch a couple other videos. Thanks, and have a great day.